Therefore, study has been studied with method overloading, and a simple example how actually the method overloading concepts can be executed or implemented with use of Java programming language. Some of the examples you have been seen how actually the method overloading can be used, and then afterwards how actually you want to pass the informations with parameters without parameters, or by changing the parameter values, or defining with different data types, or directly sending the informations as usual. So then afterwards we went with some another technique called as Java static keyword. Java static keyword is used for maintaining or using for memory management. It is used for memory management, and the static keyword will be used can be accessed with variables and methods you have seen. Today we'll be going with very simple examples of blocks as well as nested classes. So this was an example for your static variable as seen, and the simple examples have actually the counter without static variable and with static variable you can have here. Then you went with a static method, the method which is going to call only the static variables within its context. Today I'll be going with the next one, that is Java static block. Is used to initialize the static data member. It is executed before the main method at the time of class loading. So keep in the mind there is a specification or how actually the block is going to be implemented. Block means a set of instructions or set of informations which are covered by flower basis. For example, class A2 static flower bracket you are going to have a block of statement you are using with what system.out.println within a bracket static block is invoked. So according to the statement he is going to say that it is executed before the main method at the time of class loading. When you are loading the class before the main method, it is going to execute. But according to the Java statements, until and unless you enter into the Java programming statements or main method, you can't execute any statements before the main method. But when you want to use a static block statements, you can execute before the main method statement. Here how it is, so just check before the public static void main your return static system.out.println, wherein which it is going to display first, then afterwards it is going to execute with your main method statement as hello main. So that is the difference between using the simple execution of a programming statements as well as the main method class before going with main method statements. So what you can understand from the static block is one of the different type of information wherein which you are going to execute the set of statements before, then afterwards you are going to go for main method statements. So these are the three important statements you are going to have within the Java programming language. First one is static variable, static method, and the static block. So today we will be going with another very important part of your programming language, that is this. This means that particular information. You are going to point to that particular information. For example, if I am going to say this is a fruit, means a fruit you are pointing, means you are saying the behavior of that particular information. What is the state of that is. This is book, means you can identify that is a book, but when you have been using a word called as this, means you are pointing to that particular information at that position. We can call that one as this here. This is also called as a reference variable, means a particular variable value can be referenced without taking its existence at the time of execution of a program. We can call that one as reference variable. There can be a lot of usage of Java. This keyword in Java, this is a reference variable that refers to the current object. So it has been given a simple statement here how actually you are going to access the object state as well as behavior. This you can check here you are written this, which is called as a reference variable, which is going to directly access the state of a object, as well as this is going to access a variable, sorry, behavior of a object. So same book is there, book, this book is called as a state, this book is used for writing purpose, behavior. So this stating to the book, and the behavior is writing within the book. So this is how actually the this keyword is going to be used. We can go with a simple example in the next slide. So what are the different usages you can make with the variable, or you can ask a simple question, right? Two significant usage of this keyword, then you can write these things. This can be used to refer current class instant variables. Instance means, don't worry about instance, means it is nothing but called as a class variable or an object that is referring to your class, already created class. This can be used to invoke current class method implicitly. Implicitly means within the class itself. Explicitly means outside of the class you are going to see. In the previous examples, you have seen how actually the explicitly going to be executed, but here also you are going to go with the implicitly, means it is going to be executed with the, within the class state. This can be used to invoke current class in constructor. How actually you are going to define the constructor? Constructors are defined with the class name, no? Like that way, instead of using the class name, if you are going to write directly this statement where you wanted to execute that particular class objects outside of the class, at that time you can define with this opening brace and closing brace. This can be passed as an argument in the method call, constructor call, as well as a instance of the method. So these are the 6 important types you can use. This can be used with object variable. This can be used for a method implicitly, means within a function. This can also be substitute your constructor, and as well as this can be used for as a method call, constructor call, as well as a class instance from the method. We can go with the simple 6 examples what are here you have been defined. Just you can see here, this to refer a current class instance variable. What is going to say? To refer the class instance variable. Instance variable means object variable. This keyword can be used to refer current class instance variables if there is an ambiguity. Ambiguity means confusion or a complexity between the instant variables and the parameters. This keyword resolves the informations. So how actually you are going to use this keyword over here, we can check out, and how that particular problem can be resolved by using with this keyword. Okay, we shall see with a simple statement here. We are going to have a simple example how actually this keyword can be defined over here with a class name called as a student, and the instant variables you are having with int roll number, string name, as well as float fee. So you can check here, you are going to have instance variables, and through the constructor, how you can identify a constructor? Constructor can be identified by defining its own class name as a method name. So for that sake, you are going to have with what? A constructor is defined with the parameters, means these parameter values will be accepted at the time of execution of your program, and the same will be stored within the what? Within your instant variables, and you're going to display those all the things which you have seen already in the previous class, within the previous slides also. So you can check here, class test, this one means a class name, public static void means student 1 is equal to new student 111 Ankit 5000 f means float value. It is going to indicate a float value here. So student S2 is equal to new student 11 to 112 Sumit 6050. So 11 1100, right? Now 111 Ankit and 5000 F will be stored and done within the instant variables of your class code as a student. Same way you are going to go for it, and then afterwards you are going to display this S1 dot display. S1 dot display means it should have to display the information of your 111 Ankit as well as 500F, but they are going to display with 0 null 0.0 because you are not accessing with this operator here, because you are accessing with different types of values at the most level. If I wanted to access for a particular student with the correct instances, then ultimately you should have to go for it. Otherwise you are going to get the ambiguity or confusion statements. How they can be resolved? This is how you are going to resolve the statement here. Just you can check here, I have been made a painted rectangular box wherein which you can have a differences. Here you have written roll number is equal to roll number, name is equal to name, fee is equal to fee. But here this dot roll number means directly you are referring to the value what you have been passed at the time of execution of a program. 111 will be accessed and directly stored within the roll number. Here it is not going to do like that way, but here it is going to do like it. Then afterwards you are going to have a Ankit, S1 of Ankit and 5000. Ankit will be stored in this dot name. Direct you are going to store there itself. There is no ambiguity or confusion or a problem to be created. Then afterwards you are going to have with the fee with 5000 EF will be stored within this dot fee. So when you are going to execute S1 dot display, then you will be having a values called as 111 Ankit 5000, because whatever the values you have been referred here, those all the informations are directly stored within the instance variable, instance class variable. So at that position, this is going to be will be playing a very important role to define your normal values to be stored within the same instance variable of the same class when you are going to execute them within the program. So this is how you are going to define this to refer current class instance. ಈ ಸಾವಕಾಶ ಒಂದಿಟ್ಟ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾವಕಾಶ. This to invoke current class method. How actually the method can be defined now here? We shall check with a simple example. You may invoke the method of the current class by using this keyword. If you don't use this keyword, compiler automatically adds this keyword while invoking the method. What it is going to make, just you can check here, there are one class sorry, there is a class. You are going to have a void m system.out.println, void n, that is system.out.println, hello n and hello m you are going to have. Then afterwards you are going to use directly this dot m. M is a function name already you have defined. Then you are accessing the directly defining this operator, this keyword to the function. So how it is going to execute? For example, you just see public static void main string args will be creating an object called as a object as small a is equal to new a is going to call n. And think here you are not calling m function, and m function is directly accessed. That method which is defined within a class can be executed without having any reference, without having any object calling. Directly we can go for it. This is the advantage or the usage of your this function, this keyword with the function name. Okay, this is how actually we are going to define your m function. N is called but m is not called here. Okay, so m is directly executed without having any reference, without having any problem, without having any calling that particular function within the main method statement. You can just observe here. Here you are written only a as object created and you are calling n, and n will be executed and it is going to display with hello n. What is next? M you are making use of this. This means without deferring or without creating object, without through the calling the object, you can execute the statement. That is the importance of going with this operator. This with method. Then you will be going with the constructor construction. Constructor you are going to do. Here you want to have two different types of, one is parameters constructor, another one is default constructor. Two important examples I am took here. Class A is going to call a of system.out.println hello a. Okay, a int x of this function. You are not defining anything and you are just displaying the information within the class itself. Okay. So one thing, constructor, default constructor, what it is going to do, it is going to display hello a. Another parameterized constructor, what it is going to do, this is going to display the information whatever you are going to give at the time of execution of a program. Okay. A constructor directly executed, the constructor directly executed without calling in the main method. You just see here, you should have to define here as a is equal to new of opening and closing brace, then only it is going to be called. But here it is not going to call like that way, directly it is going to be executed. They see here you are going to have hello a, then a constructor with parameterized, and you are not defining the variable value here, directly you are using this function, this keyword will call whatever the value you are going to pass to the int x, and x is going to display back to you. This is nothing but called as what? Parameterized constructor, which is going to execute with what? With a variable value. Then afterwards you are going to have a default constructor here. Default constructor is going to call this of 5, whether you are passing any value here, no. Then also it is going to assign an default value at the time of execution with the constructor, and it is going to display for you over here. Just you can check 5 is displayed first, then afterwards you are going to have a hello a. Then a of int x, whether you are going to have anything, so it is not going to display. This is not at all in use. A, you have been passed with any parameterized constructor here? No means what you want to do here, this particular function is not going to be executed without any sense. There is no any execution of this particular program. This 5 is going to be displayed because 5 directly approaches to the object a and displays to the function without any system.out.println. Whether you have written any 5 with this, no, then directly it is going to display for you. And hello a means what it is going to do, it is going to display for you. This is called as what? Default constructor. Or another one way you can think here, 5 will be sent to the int x, and then afterwards system.out.println x can be executed also. This is also one type of information you are going to have. And these are the another 2 examples of actually you can use with a method and a constructor call, and lastly with class instances. You execute them, you can get the information very easily. Okay. And then other things we will discuss in the next coming classes. Then we will be going with the part of it in the coming classes. So definition of this keyword is going to play a very important role. So what you should have to do, you have to completely understand the informations, and if you are having any PC or within your system, just you can execute the programs whatever I am going to give at the time of recorded classes. So go through each and everything, write the assignments, write the notes in the fair book, and complete it each and everything. One or the another day you are going to get the signatures from me. Thank you very much.